we're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's podcast. Alright, we're gonna look forward to 2023 because I can't stop rhyming. I'm gonna get better at this, people. I'm gonna get better at this, to be honest.
I was gonna say, did you make that up just now? Because that's pretty good.
I mean, the rhyme I kind of stole from celebrate good times. Come on, but
True.
but there is a good reason to celebrate though, because this is episode 52.
Hey.
So we are technically this is our official year episode.
Happy birthday to us.
And my first episode. Well, are we saying in person? Do you
Yeah.
Is it a secret?
It's our first. This is Chaz's his first in podcast episode, and it's pretty awesome to us. What do you think actually doing it in person compared to Discord this entire time?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Should be a good flow, hopefully.
No more waving on webcam to talk.
Yeah. It's like, I want to talk. Yeah, just
because you were basically saying, I don't have to push to talk anymore. Like,
yeah. Although that scares me a little bit because I've a bit less control over.
I mean, you just talk to talk now.
Yeah.
But no, Fergus is joining us again. How are you, man?
I'm good, thanks. I've had an interesting week. What have I been doing? Spent the weekend in London. Checking out Battersea Art Centre. There's some interesting plays going on over there if you happen to be in the area.
So is the art centre where the shopping centre is now, the Battersea Power Station?
No, it's kind of on Clapham High Street.
Okay.
I did go to the power station as well, which is
was it an electric
experience?
Kinda.
If you're into high-end shopping malls and
because my wallet is screaming high-end.
I was going to say spending
malls.
money. Yeah,
spending money, looking at influencers doing aggressive TikToks all over the place.
I don't think I'm into that.
It's an interesting site. But yeah, I've been hanging out in London this weekend. I watched Akiba Maid War on Sunday as well, actually, which is a retelling of the 1980s Tokyo Yakuza wars, but to get away with not pissing off the Yakuza, they're all anime maids. So no one could be identified.
Of course they are.
But it's all real. But they're anime.
You have spoke about this. before.
Maybe.
I think you have.
Maybe.
Possibly.
It's come out quite recently.
Okay. Yeah. No,
it's really good.
I just want to make sure if you did, because I think you mentioned that before. But obviously, we haven't actually had Chaz on the podcast in a while now. But how you been, man?
I've been good. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about all the stuff I've been looking at and playing and such, because obviously it's been quite a while. I guess. The two most recent things are Marvel Snap. I've gotten pretty good into that.
You have been mentioned a couple of times on the podcast because of that. Yeah,
it's got its hooks in me.
It's that Hearthstone, isn't it?
Yeah, its gameplay loop is just super tight. Monetization feels pretty fair, and I've just been. Yeah, I'm still playing it. I think I've racked up like 20 hours or something so far.
I think they are introducing PvP soon as well. I think I don't put on with people, but I think I've read someone that they'll introduce where you can play against your friends soon.
Oh, okay. I didn't realise I couldn't do that because no one I know plays. But yeah, but no, it's good. And the other thing I checked out, which I loved, was the menu on Disney Plus.
Still need to watch it. Someone told me the ending though, so it was sort of like it kind of ruined it a bit for me, but also
a little. But I think there's still plenty to enjoy there. I was laughing my head off personally.
I've heard it weird. It's a very dark movie, but it's more like a dark comedy.
It is a very dark comedy. Yes.
So good British humour then, basically. Especially
In a
Ralph
way.
Fiennes in the lead role.
Yes, he's fantastic. Yeah.
Mind you, it's actually, to be fair, like a lot of the cast is British, like Ralph Fiennes, Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult. I've heard Nicholas Hoult is really good in the movie as well.
Yeah, who's he play?
He's the younger actor who brings Anya Taylor-Joy along with him.
Yes, he is good. Yeah. Oh, I could talk about it a lot, but there's a particular moment that I absolutely loved. It was hilarious. But yes, I would recommend that if you're into. I don't know, if you know a little bit about fine food, because it kind of makes fun of it in a way. It's good. I'd recommend it.
Fair play. I mean, going on for food show, actually, I recently watched a show called The Bear. It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I've heard good things about this.
It's only 8 episodes long. It's like half an hour an episode, and I shit you not, the 7th episode is one cut. There's not a cut in the episode. Literally,
how long is it?
21 minutes.
Wow.
It's a 21-minute cut. And basically, the whole premise of the episode is they set up this new to-go order system, and they accidentally set up to basically all the orders come through at once.
Right.
So they set up like ages in advance, and like they're having to do like 80, 90 orders instantly, and like the madness that ensues with it and everything, and
So
people getting distracted. It's on Disney Plus. Yeah.
I was going to say that's another hit for Disney Plus. Then we've been talking about this a little bit, and they seem to be doing pretty well at the moment.
Who's winning in the streaming wars?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, how long is it going to take to give into Disney Plus?
I'm just waiting to be kicked off Netflix.
Which might not happen now.
Maybe they did post some very aggressive sounding stuff, like things like if you connect to the wrong Wi-Fi, we might ban you. So like watching Netflix at the gym might become a dangerous.
Which is
game.
every single person.
Which is everyone.
On Earth.
You're just
Wow.
boo everyone.
If you go to the gym.
And you actually have to physically call someone to get yourself unbanned, which means 100 million people all.
And didn't they just
call...
fire like 2,000, 3,000 people from their staff venue as well? So it's like...
they have greatly reduced their staff recently.
But yeah, definitely potentially a future thing we'll talk about. We've been murmuring about it, and streaming is going in a very interesting direction.
I do have to say that there's an actor, he tweeted, like he worked on a Netflix project, and he said, so if I work for Netflix again, and I go away for 4 or 5 months filming a Netflix project, do I get blocked from watching Netflix on my phone when I'm filming a Netflix project in another country?
Yes.
How does that work?
I feel I'm getting vibes of you remember the original Xbox One release where they were talking about all that restriction stuff that was happening? Yeah, I'm getting that kind of like reminding of that, where they had to backpedal a lot of those restrictions.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's very interesting, to be honest. But obviously, people figured I'd do a nice little intro before Chaz coming back to join us today in the in-person podcast episode. But today, people, we've done 2022. Do you have any special mentions quickly from 2022, Chaz, at all?
Yeah, I mean, I can do some films. Pop up right on the top of my head. Avatar 2, really enjoyed that. I'm sure that came up.
Yeah, don't bet against Cameron. Do not bet against him. Of course, he's going to rip off Avatar, the cartoon next, but yes,
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I saw it in 4DX, which was a weird experience. I got rained on in the cinema, which is a first for me. Also, almost thrown out of my seats several times, so... Yeah, I don't know about 4DX for a 3-hour long movie, but it was good. I saw it late in IMAX, much better in IMAX. The other one was, as I mentioned, The Menu. I think that came out very...
It was, yeah. I believe it was,
2022. And Glass Onion was also really good.
Yeah, that was... Yeah.
I
don't know if you've heard the previous episodes, but Fergus doesn't like Glass Onion.
Okay. I think it was weaker than the first one, but still a lot of fun. And, of course, Everything Everywhere, which I loved.
Yeah.
Had to mention that one.
And that's leading the Oscar nominations at the moment.
Yes, I think that very much is Film of the Year.
Oh, that's exciting.
Because obviously I know Ki-Hu Kwan, he's got an Oscar nomination for lead actor. Or is it supporting actor? One of the two, which is awesome. I love the fact that him and Brendan Fraser are Academy nominees now. And they basically had this huge period where they just disappeared, and they were in Encino Man, so this way where Brendan Fraser came out of prehistoric times. They were in that film together back 30 years ago, and Ki-Hu Kwan goes on about that. And they did an actors roundtable of Austin Butler, who plays Elvis, and Colin Farrell and Brendan Fraser and him. It's really good to check out. And then Michelle Yeoh for lead. And also, some people have saying that it's the first ever Asian nomination in a lead acting role ever at the Oscars.
Really? That's interesting.
No, I don't. I can't 100% confirm that, but
the Oscars has not been great.
Supporting, I believe there's been. I believe Michelle Yeoh was possibly nominated for Crouching Tiger back in the day for supporting. Possibly, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that was relegated to foreign language film.
Whether or not it is, I would say that Michelle Yeoh does an amazing job in the lead role. So. If she gets some kind of acknowledgement for that would be great. Cause...
I mean, she is nominated for the lead actress, so yeah.
Perfect, yeah, that'd be great.
But a lot of people say that Brendan Fraser. I've always said his name. I've always said Fraser. It's Fraser.
Oh, I've also said Fraser.
It's Farser. Yeah, it's not Fraser it's Fraser, and I'm I feel so bad. These many years have been said, but a lot of people basically saying it's going to him.
Yeah,
because supposedly The Whale is an emotional. It's a very heavy emotional movie, no pun intended for heavy. I do still need to see it now because it's in British cinemas finally. So that and Puss in Boots, so balance it out.
Yeah, you know what? I would have thought of Puss in Boots as just a kind of, well, throwaway sequel, I guess, but apparently it's really good. So
Academy Award nominated.
yeah, I will have to check that out because I like that character back in the day, I suppose. So yeah.
Yeah, no. Antonio Banderas, we said in the previous podcast, he ruined his voice playing a Puss in Boots. But it's just basically him in cat form.
I've heard he really enjoys playing that role.
Oh yeah, no. It's and speaking of voices, I know Austin Butler recently came out and said he's finally losing his Elvis voice. It's taken him 3.5 years, but he's finally losing the Elvis voice. But a lot of people are thinking, is he going to sound like Elvis when he's in Dune 2?
Oh, that's a point. Maybe.
Because they finished filming Dune Part 2, because that comes out in October.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. Like
some interesting. It's a side story where it takes up a music career.
I mean, we will be definitely getting into Dune 2 in a little bit, to be honest. But on that note, though, I think it's time, with the honourable mentions out of the way, that we get into this week's topic, which is basically, we've done the past, now we're looking forward to the future, even though we're a month into it now. That's because of Nate being ill. So, oops. So the plan is, people, that we're going to be going through our list of 2023. So what we're looking forward to: video games, TV shows, books, anime, because definitely Fergus has put on that as well.
Yeah.
Games. We're going to do a roundup of honourable mentions, and then we're going to go into our list. So Fergus has got 3 each. Myself and Chaz have got a lot more, specifically for honourable mentions as well, so we'll be getting into those. But we won't spend too much time on them, we'll just keep going around and everything. But on that note, I think it's time that we begin. So, as is tradition, are you ready? Are you ready to begin?
Yeah, I can do a few honourable mentions on anime. So, Oshi no Ko, coming out for spring season 2023. It looks like it's going to be an interesting one. I've heard of the manga of this one. So right. So it's a reincarnation, but he gets he gets reincarnated into the same world. So the gynecologist of this woman, he's got a massive crush on her because she's like a pop star.
For fuck's sake,
gets run over immediately after checking her up.
You really start us off with this shit, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
2023. Here we go.
Here we go. Gets immediately run over after leaving work that day and gets reincarnated as her child.
fucking hell.
So think of that as a perspective.
I feel like you didn't need to say this was an anime. I feel like we probably could have guessed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm quite interested by this one. I haven't got round to reading the manga, but I think it is as kind of... not messed up, just kind of like...
See, I love, right, people, we watch the reactions to the trailers on this podcast, but Fergus has literally given me the title of this, I put it in trailer, and it looks nothing like how you've described from the trailer.
No, it does look like...
It looks quite wholesome in the trailer.
Yeah, it looks like a standard wholesome idol anime, but there's just the context of her child being a reincarnation of her gynecologist. There's only this... there's only quite
There's
a
a
wholesome
circle of
looking
life
trailer.
joke in there somewhere, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I only realised this was coming out this year, 2023, fairly recently, so it's on the honourable mentions list. The other thing I've got is Birdie Wing Golf Girls Story, Season 2. Imagine the Pokemon world, except there are no Pokemon and everyone's seriously into golf rather than battling Pokemon. And you've kind of got the general idea. So there's kind of like the Team Rocket of golf, and then there's sort of underground street golf, and just like really ridiculous high stakes.
Sorry, underground street golf.
Yeah.
Did it have like a very underground level, like it's like the those glow in the dark golf parties or something, like it's extremely underground?
It's like people gambling on back alley.
It reminds me of Underground Countdown. No, Street Countdown, that's it, from IT Crowd, if you remember that one.
Jesus Christ.
It's again similar, not too far off, to be honest, but the first series was very entertaining. I'm very much looking forward to season 2, which is out 2023 spring again. For my first actual mention, though, I guess we'll stick with the anime. Of course we are. Nier Automata, the anime, is airing this season, winter 2023.
I did not even know that this was actually becoming an anime.
Oh, I vaguely heard of this.
Yeah, it looks really interesting. I have deliberately not watched... So the first episodes should be out on Crunchyroll now. I've not seen the episodes yet because I wanted to, be still looking forward to it. As I was saying, I was looking forward to it. But it's following generally the same story as the Nier Automata games. I think there's some concern that some of the game elements don't translate into anime form. But if you've kind of liked the idea of Nier Automata, the game, and have not really been able to
Be good enough.
Be good enough, sit down and actually slog through it, because it's not the most forgiving of games. I think this is a good way to absorb the story and get involved in the world, because it's an interesting world.
Netflix. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And Crunchyroll. Yeah, so if you don't know, the Nier Automatas, so you've got two versions of robots. You've got the sort of clunky, unhumanoid-looking robots who are kind of like on the side of robots. And you've got the android, humanoid, very human-looking robots who are fighting for humanity. I don't know if they ever, in the world of, wrecked cities, humanity's nowhere to be seen, and they're kind of fighting over this lost idea of what humanity is, and it's all very digital.
I really love... it's very interesting because I know there's been a problem with animation styles leaning more towards 3D models now in their animation style, whereas 2D, classic 2D animation... Vox Machina, I don't know if you guys have been watching that. That's it's really good. But they've leaned more heavily into 3D models for some elements of the show compared to 2D.
Yeah.
It works in most parts. You could definitely tell, but I think also a lot of people have said doing 3D animation saves a lot more time than 2D animation.
Oh, it's a lot more cost effective. Yeah.
Blending animation styles, I think, works to a degree. And looking at Nier Automata, I'm extremely shit at the game, so hence why I came back very quickly. And it has interested me, when we were talking about Cuphead last week and how Cuphead is awfully ridiculously bad, is difficult to do.
Yeah.
I'm also awfully shit at it.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that the episodes on Netflix are 12 minutes long, so I could digest them if I wanted to. I'm very intrigued in checking this out, to be honest.
Yeah, airing now. It'll be another few months before it's all completely out, but definitely one to check out.
Nice. Right then.
Right, shall I go next? I suppose might as well. Got a bit of a list to rattle off. So, I guess one thing I want to mention actually, 2023 kind of feels like a little bit of a year of the sequels, or sequels basically. There's a lot of stuff that's either been extended in terms of TV series or has sequels, both from games and films. So, not a lot of original stuff. Make of that what you will. But so I'm pretty sure Nate will probably be mentioning some of these, but let's start with films and Marvel. So in terms of honorable mentions, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is coming out. I think Mate's mentioned several times that this is going to be the last film with the core set of Guardians in it. So it'd be interesting to see how they round that out. I really enjoyed the first two. Hopefully it's more to come. I think the Thor Love and Thunder kind of teased them a little bit, and we kind of assumed it would be a bit of a buddy film with Thor and the Guardians, but not so much. So be good to see them properly returning in their own film. The other thing is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I didn't even see. I think it's just Ant-Man and the Wasp, right? The second Ant-Man.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. That one didn't kind of stand out to me, but some of the cool, again, they're leaning into the multiverse and extra dimensional stuff. The trailer just really sold me. They've got some really cool visuals going on. The concept's really interesting, so I might check this one out in the cinema. I don't know if Nate's going to mention more Marvel stuff, but I'm sure he will.
How dare you? I mean, you're right, but how dare you?
There's a lot of TV coming out as well. Couple honourables here. Heartstopper Season 2. You guys might not have seen this one, but it's a nice bit of representation. It's just this super cute a couple of guys in a relationship. The first season was just big hit for LGBT people. I think it's an English show as well. It just...
Oh yeah, this is definitely English. When you look at the trailer, people on Netflix, just type in Hot Stop Season 2, the trailer, you can... This is definitely British high school.
Yes, yeah. So, there's a little bit of, relation for me there. But it was just... The first season was really wholesome, really well written. I didn't know they were doing a second season, so I'm pretty happy about that. And looking through the list of stuff that was coming out in 2023, I also saw that they're doing a Gladiators reboot. If you guys remember that one from the 90s.
The one where they're kind of in, like, spandex and kind of have the push people off platforms. And,
exactly. Wolf,
yeah. I remember watching... Yeah, I remember watching this back in the day.
Yeah, I just thought I'd mention it because I'm just like... Really? They're rebooting Gladiators? Yeah. I have to check that out.
Do you reckon hang out there with the pure spandex they do, like they're back in the day?
Oh yeah, they have to. That's Gladiators, isn't it?
I mean, with like Ninja Warrior nowadays, it's sort of like a similar premise to a degree. Like, but Gladiators did it first.
Something I forgot to mention earlier as well, I've been watching on Netflix, is a thing called Physical 100, which is it's out now. It's kind of currently releasing, but basically it's like a lot of very strong, physically capable people from all sorts of, sports, basically, are competing against each other. It's currently ongoing.
This makes me tired just looking at it.
Yeah, it's really interesting, but maybe it's kind of brought back, along with Squid Game, perhaps, the want for physical game shows. Who knows?
Have you seen they're actually doing a Squid Game real life competition show on Netflix?
Yes, I've not heard good things from that.
Yes, I know. So basically, like, there's a lot of controversy at the moment. So supposedly it might be fixed, or how there was bad conditions and everything.
Yeah,
we don't know fully ourselves. This is just from news reports, people that we've read. But
yeah. So obviously there's that too. So yeah, I don't know. I was just like, cool, Gladiators. I'll check that out. I actually rewatched a bunch of that last year just from nostalgia. So. And then finally games. There's a game coming out called Park Beyond, which I'm kind of getting a little bit of Planet Coaster vibes, but they basically let you make physically impossible and fantasy rides. I don't think I really mentioned it, but I'm a bit of a fan of theme park builders.
Oh,
just a few times.
Yeah, I had this as one of my picks when the trailer came out. On the game show, the
Summer Games Fest,
the Future Games
show,
something like that. Yeah, I'm also quite looking forward to this. I'm a big fan of Roller Coaster Tycoons and that sort of thing. So, I'm up for another roller coaster game.
Yeah, and this one I think is doing something unique because I can't think of any real game where they've actually like blatantly broken the laws of physics and just went for crazy fun, basically. So yeah, I hope it's good. I'm probably going to check it out because I really liked Planet Coaster. So yeah, we'll see. Finally, in terms of honourables, The Wolf Among Us 2 is finally coming out. The first one was really fun, really compelling story. The tone was great, and then it kind of disappeared amongst the snowstorm of the millions of other games Telltale made, and then, well, who knows what happened with that, but it's finally coming out. It should be really good. I've heard that they've kind of tailored it so that you don't have to know what happened in the first one, which will be interesting. But I believe that Wolf Among Us was one of, if not the highest reviewing Telltale game. So yeah, very interested in what happens with this sequel. It's finally coming out. It'd be great to see.
Yeah, no, man. Like, do you know what? Let's just. I was going to start with TV, but we might as well just do games as well myself. So yeah, Wolf Among Us 2 is definitely on my list. It's sort of like my honorable mention section. I get that big bad wolf coming back, and I really want to know the twist at the end. Because in these times of like fairy tale pressures, there's always twists in it. And I'm not going to spoil the twist, even though the game's quite old now. Definitely check it out, people, because there's a really good ending to The Wolf Among Us. It is a bit dated now, but I still think it holds up quite well and it plays quite well. Also, I know they changed the engine for The Wolf Among Us 2, so I believe it is Unreal Engine now they're working out of, and not the previous engine that Telltale was working on. So that was definitely on my list there. So games, honorable mentions myself. Final Fantasy. I can't wait for what is it called? Final Fantasy Rebirth.
They've gone in a very interesting direction with the whole Final Fantasy VII reboot, and well, I guess anything I say further is massive spoilers for the Final Fantasy VII reboot 1.
I mean, because obviously they've changed the whatchamacallit, the narrative to 7.2.
Yeah.
I just like because I obviously spoilers for Game of 3 years old. There's a certain sequence midpoint in the first game what I thought was the end of the game.
Oh, it's some
with
emotionally traumatic bits
with Aerith. I thought that was the end of the game because I never played 7. So the fact that they may be changing that this time around is very interesting, to be honest. And the fact that the first game was the first 5 hours of 7, but it took me almost 60 hours to complete 7. So I'm wondering how the fuck this is going to go. But I will say, though, if they are splitting it up into 3, the third part needs to come out much quicker. They need to be almost developing in synchronous, essentially.
Oh, I would very much hope so, yeah.
Yeah, so aside from that, I'm really looking forward to also Redfall. It's the arcane game that is the vampire one. Supposedly it's going to have maybe almost Far Cry elements to it, go around and kill vampires. It's from the Dishonored team and everything. So really looking forward to it. And it is multiplayer. There is a multiplayer aspect as well, so you can go around with your friends and hunt vampires. I like the idea of it. It is coming to Xbox Game Pass day 1, so it'll be good to have. So this is basically, I know Phil Spencer came out recently, said Xbox needs to start pumping out their games, their first party titles quicker. Because,
100%, yeah.
Because PlayStation is owning that entire section at the moment.
Yeah.
No, so outside of that, obviously, Dead Island 2. So yeah, I presume we may be talking about this in a bit, actually.
No, we can talk about it now.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, do you want to start us off?
I was just going to say, I remember when the first trailer for this came out. How many years ago was that?
9 years ago now? 9 years ago?
Yeah, and I really liked that trailer. It was cool. And then nothing for a long time. So, obviously with every game that's been in, well, presumably some kind of development trouble or development hell, we'll see what state it's in. But I'm just curious to see what they've finally made after all this time.
I mean, I love the fact that, bringing up a trainer, I love the fact that Goat Simulator was the one that basically, tricked people and, they basically took the aspect of the original Dead Island 2 trailer and, everyone thought, oh no, this is the new version of Dead Island 2. And it turns out...
I've not seen this.
Chaz just basically going off, and everyone literally thought, because they copied the Dead Island 2 trailer to almost a T, just different art style. I was going, oh, what the fuck's going on here? Turns out it was Goat Simulator 3, which I didn't realise was just Goat Simulator 2 because they were fucking with people.
Yeah, I mean, Goat Simulator is the original Troll game.
Exactly, and I love the fact that they did this, and I thought it was brilliant. I thought it would have been hilarious for Dead Island 2 to troll Goat Simulator to get that little parry going, but the one aspect of Dead Island 2 I'm confused about, which I'm hoping they explain, is it's set in LA.
Yeah.
How's it Dead Island if it's set in LA? Does the Santa Monica fault break and it becomes its own part, so it's a massive island? But yeah, anyway, we'll go on to that. So obviously, we'll talk about this now as well because I know Chaz saw the list earlier and was like, yes. What the hell? So we're going to go on to the Expanse Telltale game, following a good old drummer. So really looking forward to this title. And I believe this is a precursor to the actual series as well.
I was just about to ask that. Yeah. So we do know quite a lot about drummer, but probably more to explore there. And after Expanse ended with. It was a good ending, but I think that there's definitely more to explore in that universe. I'm eager for more. It'd be good to see what Telltale do, definitely.
Oh, I know they are doing a comic book, actually, at the moment. They're doing a comic book that's actually set after the show, so it's sort of like the official sequel.
Oh, that'd be good, yeah. I'll check that out.
Yeah, so going on from there, so this is just my game honorable mentions. People got a whole list here. Remnant 2. Don't know if you guys ever played Remnant from the Ashes. So it's a Souls-like game where basically the world is fucked. This root takes hold in these multiple realms, and you go to multiple worlds, and they're really unique, desert, swamp, stuff like that. It's it is a roguelike, a Souls-like game to a degree, but it's with guns and guns and everything. And I really love the first one. I've been playing on my Steam Deck a lot. Finally almost finished it, but the end boss is ridiculous. Didn't even know that. I forgot they were making a sequel. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this come out, to be honest. So I'm that's that's on my list as well. I think that's pretty much it, to be honest. I think like Assassin's Creed Mirage, I'm looking forward to playing a bit more.
I'm sure you could say a lot more. I mean, I can see Nate's list; it's ridiculous, but yeah, some restraint, I guess, is needed. 2023 is going to be an interesting year.
Yes, especially if we get these games actually coming out this year, which will be really good to have, to be honest. But yeah, no. So games. We'll quickly roll over to TV shows. So TV shows. Abbott Elementary. It's a second show that's going into its second season. So basically, it's a show about a rundown school in like America, like they don't have enough funds and everything. It's like seeing how, essentially, how real world is at the moment. Teachers struggling to help their students and everything, and how that plays out. So I'm looking forward to see how that goes. The Bear season 2, I'm really looking forward to. Oh, that was in my list. Fuck, I'll say it now. The Bear season 2. So I'm looking forward to that. Obviously, if you know this, people, it's basically a show about a guy who is a sous chef in Manhattan, but he takes over his brother's like takeaway diner, and he because his brother committed suicide, and it's just the narrative of this group of people, and we were just talking before the podcast and how episode 7 is essentially a one-shot 21-minute one-shot episode, and it is absolutely ridiculous. You may recognise a lot of the actors from the show. The main actor, he is from Shameless, the American Shameless TV show. And one of the main actresses as well, I don't know her name. Oh, it's at the bottom here. Ayo Adebiri has just been cast in Marvel's Thunderbolts. So it's interesting to see her like going over there. It's a very interesting show. I highly recommend checking out the first season on Disney Plus. Really look forward to the second season. The Good Omens Part 2. The Good Omens Season 2.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so that's coming out this year. So obviously, big fan of the first season, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
Yeah, that was really good.
Good Omens, I bounced off it a little bit, I have to admit. I think it was the British accents on the kids. There's something about bad British accents that just like is like nails on a chalkboard to me, but I'll have to give it another go because I keep hearing a lot of good things about it.
Yep, the After Party Season 2. I'm a big fan of Apple TV. We're actually getting to this in the streaming episode, but the After Party is basically someone is killed in the first episode, which is Dave Franco. It's non-spoiler. It happens in like the first 10 minutes. And then each episode is from the perspective of a different person. But each episode is a different genre. So it could have an action episode, a musical episode, and there's an animated episode. Like, it's really, really fun, to be honest.
I wonder if they'll keep doing different genres in the second season.
So that's actually where I'm going. The second season comes out this summer. And this is just we're watching the trailer now, people. This is just giving you context for the first season. But it follows a few of the characters from the first season. They've gone to a wedding, murder happens at a wedding, and then the same things ensue. Very quickly mentioning TV, like other TV shows, X-Men 97, the fact that that's coming back from the 90s and seeing how that plays out. What If Season 2. Really looking forward to seeing how that, and I know they're going to be bringing the episode that was supposed to be in Season 1 in Season 2, so if you've seen Season 1, there's a Tony Stark and Gamora in it, and you're like, how are they there? Turns out that because of COVID, there was time restrictions,
right.
So they've pushed that to Season 2. Foundation, Season 2. So I was a big fan of that show. It's basically an Isaac Asimov adaptation of basically the future, like 12,000 years in the future. A guy predicts the end of an empire. The actual first season takes place over hundreds of years. But it's the same actors in it. So Lee Pace plays the Emperor. There's 3 emperors: a boy, a man, and an old man. They're called Dawn, Day, and Dusk. So the actors just basically play older versions of themselves as it goes through. Jared Harris is the person who predicts the going forward. It's a brilliant. Amazon is absolutely killing it at the moment. We'll get into the streaming episode, but I think not many people talk about the show, which is frustrating because it is that good, in my opinion. So again, there's so many shows to talk about: Loki, Ironheart, and everything. But those are the honorable mentions for my TV. I'm really trying to run on it very quickly because there's so much to go through. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I definitely look forward to seeing. Megan, that like horror comedy movie with the killer doll. I'm interesting in seeing, to be honest, because I love the fact that it became almost a meme essentially with the whole dancing, like when she's killing people, because it's just like what the fuck is going on here. Very interesting to see that, to be honest. The Whale with Brendan Fraser. Now we were talking about this before and how we've been saying Fraser wrong the entire time. Creed 3. Michael B. Jordan is directing it this time around, and also he's saying he is heavily inspired by anime. for this movie coming up. Scream 6, we spoke about that briefly last week. Dungeons and Dragons, the movie, it should be interesting. Indiana Jones, Mission Impossible, Ghostbusters Afterlife 2, looking forward to. And I wasn't really a fan of his previous movie, like the Army of the Dead, like films like on Netflix, because I never watched them. But Zack Snyder is releasing a sci-fi epic. Basically, supposedly he went to Disney with almost a Star Wars pitch, and they was like, no, we can't do that. So he went to Netflix, and they're making his own like Seven Samurai style, or basically a group of people coming together and defending this settlement. It's like a sci-fi epic type of thing. So yeah.
I feel like you're not going to be able to leave your house, basically, Nate, from all this stuff that's coming out in 2023.
I mean, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous, man. Like all that stuff I just read off, and like, but I think we're going to leave the honorable mentions there. I said that the list be long. I just scrolled it. I just realized how many fucking films that's coming out this year. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous, to be honest. We won't talk about Kraven the Hunter because I just can't be fucking arsed with Sony movies at the moment to a point.
Is that a Marvel character?
It's a Marvel villain that's now a Marvel anti-hero. Basically, Sony are taking all their villains and turning them into anti-heroes. Morbius, Venom. See, Kraven the Hunter is literally... I don't know if you know Kraven.
Well, I now know him because of Marvel Snap.
He is basically the ultimate game hunter.
Yeah.
But in the film, supposedly he's a vegan. He protects the wildlife. Yeah, that's the thing. You don't even know that much, and you're like, what? Okay. And do you know Aaron Taylor-Johnson? Kick-Ass.
Oh, yeah.
He's playing... Oh, and it's Quicksilver in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
He's playing Kraven the Hunter. And it's like, who's he hunting? Like, people? What you'd hope. But yeah, no. So many things to say there with Sony at the moment. We'll actually be getting into a Sony property a bit later on, which I'm really looking forward to. I think we're both agreed on this.
I suspect we know which one that is.
Yeah,
let's
definitely.
see.
But I think we're going to send it back to Fergus now for his one of his main picks again.
So, another anime that is coming out this year is Revenger. So this is a samurai revenge tale. A guy gets kicked out of his clan and joins a group of rebels who basically go around that era of Japan, finding things to commit revenge against. I don't know a huge amount about it. It's taken me quite a while to even find a trailer. But the person who wrote it, the original story, a guy called Gen Urobuchi, is very interesting. So he's the main story guy behind quite a few visual novels I've played, including Saya no Uta, Song of Syra, which is one messed up visual novel.
Well, I mean, you go and listen to last week's episode, people.
Yeah.
Fergus is into some very interesting visual novels, to say the least.
Yeah, so he's very much, or has at least been in the past in that kind of space. So Saya no Uta is guy gets traumatized after surviving a car crash, and everyone turns into giant blob gore monsters. But he's the only person who sees the world like this, and just it leads to.
So do they actually turn, or is it that's
in
what he's
his
just
mind?
seeing?
But that from the point of the viewer, basically just the world turns into gore, like that game that came out this year. The Scorn.
Oh, Scorn. Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty much like that.
I could not. I was very hungover.
Oh,
and
no.
I bought a takeaway trying to play that game, and I've not gone back to it since. And
It's pretty similar. So this new show, so it's been given license to quite a top tier anime, Revenger. It's probably going to be very gory. It's probably going to have some very interesting themes going by past experience with the guy who wrote this. So I am very much looking forward to watching this.
I like the premise. I like the idea of...
And the visuals are good as well.
Yeah.
I like the idea of following someone who's like basically having some kind of psychosis. Basically, it sounds like, and then you see it from their perspective.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll see. That's the premise, at least. It probably has more to it than that.
Yeah. So it's probably similar themes in this, but a lot more slashy murder with samurai swords.
I do like this sort of animation. Like, thinking about it, we don't get a huge amount of like samurai centric anime shows.
There's
really
not a huge amount, and the ones that do come out tend to be very well animated.
I just realised that
that surprises me actually.
Even to my animation level, like even the anime expert that Fergus is even going. Yeah,
I was going to say I expected Fergus to rattle off like tens of 20.
I could probably name about 5, maybe.
Oh damn.
I suspect there are reasons for that. The samurai don't have the best reputation in Japan itself.
I guess after ironically, the last samurai movie, which a lot of people don't like,
there's lots of reasons. They're responsible for dividing Japan, murdering lots of people in lots of villages. Then they lost a very significant war against the Russians, and then there's the whole World War II history, which is pretty messy.
But Ghost of Tsushima,
I don't think it would have had the same reception in Japan. That's the why every character who's a samurai is a ronin, because they're not part of the main system.
I never thought about that.
They literally cannot even it's. Yeah.
And irony that like Star Wars is like based on the 7 Samurai to a degree as well. Like
yeah. It's rare that it comes up.
Yeah, because obviously, the last Samurai movie, which I actually quite enjoyed, was the Tom Cruise movie. I actually quite enjoyed it, to be honest. But obviously, spoiler, the white man survives at the end. Ronin, that's very interesting. I've never thought about that. But yeah.
So I'm hoping this is going to be another classic Ronin anime that is super well animated with interesting, probably quite a lot of psychosis.
Yeah, probably knows how it goes, to be honest.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we're going to go in a bit of a random order, but Nate already mentioned this. I'm going to go with my films to start with. Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. So this is actually one of the first things that came up when we were talking about this topic in my head, because I believe it was originally supposed to come out in 2022. Is that right?
I don't know. I believe it was supposed to just come out this year, but I think it may have been pushed back a little bit.
In any case, I've been seeing trailers for it for a while. I'm actually surprised it took them this long to do a big, high-budget D&D movie. I know there's been some small attempts in the past. But what I like about this is, I do like D&D, but I feel like the trailer that everyone's probably seen by now just kind of captures both like the fantasy epic of D&D, but also basically messing around and having fun with a group of friends, which is kind of what D&D is about. Like, it can be quite serious, but in my experience, we've just had a good time. We've had a laugh. We've gone through this campaign, and the characters and the party they've put together, where they're kind of quipping and stuff. Sometimes that feels out of place in other fantasy or sci-fi stuff, but for D&D, I think that really works, because the idea is, it's a party of friends. It looks really good. I'm definitely going to see this in the cinema. I'm looking forward to this one a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have to talk about that as well, because I think that's it was on my honorable mentions list. But yeah, I definitely agree. And like, how did you guys ever see the original Dungeons and Dragons movie back in the day?
No.
With Jeremy Irons. It's a it's a sight to say the least. To be honest, it's a very, it's not good.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. It's it really, for 2000, it did not hold up well. It is very.
Oh god, it's only 2000.
Yeah, that was surprised me too, actually.
Yeah, it's it was a very interesting movie, to say the least, and it was too action heavy. There was Marlon Wayans is in it as well. Before he became like Scary Movie era, or it was around the same time as that. But yeah, now going off of the the new version, I love the fact that they're even doing a like a board game section battle, so like they have to go down corridors and like everything.
Great.
And
yeah,
you see it in the trailer, like they have like the chest that's alive and everything.
Yeah, the mimic and the gelatinous cube, and also there's an owl beast. A druid that turns into an owl beast. If you're gonna have a druid, I'm gonna be happy.
And I think Chris Pine as a bard is kind of perfect, because he's in that phase of his career where he made an amazing Kirk, in my opinion. And I love the fact that he has this charming, smart, smirky tone to him, and like, it's kind of perfect for a bard, to be honest. And the casting just across the board is brilliant. Like Michelle, oh, we're gonna get an action female actress for the role, Michelle Rodriguez. Just give her the barbarian role.
Yep.
Sure, fuck it, yeah.
Of course, yeah.
And just some female actresses. I love the fact that Hugh Grant is in this movie as the Rogue as well, and like I'm hoping the soundtrack plays out quite well, because I think this could be like how Guardians of the Galaxy, it sort of introduced the more outlandish side of Marvel, and the soundtrack was very dependent or very in sync with the movie itself. It worked very well. With the trailers they've been using, I feel that the soundtrack has worked quite well with the trailers to give that atmosphere. I'm kind of hoping they have a similar premise going into the show, because it would be good if maybe Chris Pine has a couple of songs he sings. Like,
Yeah, I was going to mention that. There's about a half-a-second clip of him playing his lute and doing like
dancing,
a little jaunt, and I hope that he does a lot of that in the movie, because that just looks so funny.
I mean, even if you set your phone on vibrate, people, it could be quite loud still. So yeah, no, I think this is going to be really brilliant, to be honest. It comes out in March,
Yeah,
so
not long.
quite soon. Yeah, and really looking forward to seeing how it plays out. And the writer and director of this is the person who wrote Spider-Man: Homecoming,
Oh, okay.
and he's
sign.
also contributed to the new Flash movie. Did you guys ever watch Bones, the TV show?
Can't say I did, no.
No. So basically, he was ever heard of the show Freaks and Geeks?
Heard of it, yep.
Yeah, so he's actually one of the main actors from Freaks and Geeks, ironically, and he loved playing D&D growing up.
Oh,
and
that's also a good sign.
Yeah, so it's this actor here, John Francis Daly. So it's this actor, like I say this actor here, you can't see it, people, but yeah, it's he's directing. Also, he wrote Game Night. Don't know if you've seen that film. It's about brilliant film. It's about this group of people get together for a game night, but then quite hilarious bad consequences ensue.
I can also see he's in a film called Dude Bro Party Massacre 3.
Yeah.
Clearly good enough to get 2 sequels.
I mean, yeah, he's in Horrible Bosses as well. Like, he's again, he's a great actor. He's a great director as well, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it plays out. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah.
Yeah. This will be an interesting film. It'll be interesting to see if people actually go and see it.
Well, I will.
I think people will, because
one.
The star talent alone of Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez and like Hugh Grant and everything, and also we're forgetting an actor. Like, obviously, he was in Bridgerton recently, so
Okay.
What's his name? Jean Page. What's it? I don't really watch the show, but so Regis Jean Page. He was the main actor in Bridgerton, and he's a lead contender for Bond.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it'll be I think that will draw crowds as well, and also with how everyone's been dealing with a lot of, like, how could I put this, darker times, and like we've had a lot of drama movies. Dungeons and Dragons is just going to be a fun film.
Yeah,
I've been playing a lot of Dungeons and Dragons throughout the past 2 or 3 years.
that's a good point, actually. A lot of people have during lockdown. A lot of people started up campaigns, so in a way this is actually really well timed. I hope it does well, because I can see a lot of potential for a bit of a franchise happening from this.
I mean, Critical Role. They've got Vox Machina, and also they've just announced in the past week that Mighty Nine, their second campaign, Amazon have entered into a deal with the Critical Role team for a first look thing. All their campaigns are going to be animated now, supposedly. Wow. Mighty Nine's confirmed; they'll probably do the third one, and also not just TV. There'll be film options and everything else. So to see that group of people go from kickstarting their Vox Machina to Amazon.
If you told me
extended universe,
if you told me 10 years ago that Amazon were going to be producing a show based on the D&D campaign, I would not believe you.
I mean, you've seen The Boys. If you'd said we've seen The Boys 10 years ago,
Oh,
Amazon.
Yeah. But yes. Yeah, going to be good. I'm going to see that one for sure.
2 hours and 40 minutes long, supposedly. So it's to be fair, it's about the same length as Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. So
about the same length as most films these days, seemingly.
Going to be much funnier, to be honest, no doubt. Also, there was a very fat dragon in the trailer, which I think is absolutely hilarious. To be honest, no slender dragon here. So yeah, that's your first pick, man. So let's just keep it in the movie realm now, myself. So I'm going to talk about a little movie. Take a little puff of that sweet white powder, and we're going to talk about a little movie called
I wonder if it's come up.
Cocaine Bear. It comes out in 2 weeks' time, and I cannot fucking wait for this movie. The fact is, it is based on a true story to a degree. Of course, the bear died like in 5 minutes in real life, but like a rampant bear high on cocaine in a movie fucking people up.
Just a rampant bear anyway is a dangerous thing to be dealing with, but
But add cocaine and it's suddenly hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, and I love the fact that it's been directed by Elizabeth Banks, who she directed the Pitch Perfect movies as well. I'll just search her now just so you can see. Basically, Elizabeth Banks she's from the Hunger Games as well. She's been in that. You'll recognise her face if you see it.
Oh yeah, she was in Scrubs.
Yes, she was. She was JD's
JD's
baby
love
mama.
interest. Yep.
Yes, his baby mama. Yeah, no, I just love the fact that this. It looks fucking hilarious, to be honest.
So this is based on a very, very vaguely based on a true story. Okay, I was gonna say who came up with this for real, and how did they get Universal to agree to it as well?
The thing is, though, it just looks so funny.
Exactly.
And I think that's just what we all need. I love the fact at the moment we've got Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, we've got Cocaine Bear, we've got Dungeons and Dragons. We've got all these really fun movies coming out, and we'll talk about the movie in a little bit on my list as well. But the fact that this movie is going to be violent as fuck. I also love the fact in the trailer, the cocaine smells the powder coming off someone, so that's why he goes to kills him. It's just, it's very fucking. Also, this is one of Ray Liotta's last movies as well, because he passed away recently. So the fact that his post-humorous movies are Cocaine Bear is I mean, also the bear is snorting cocaine off someone's broken leg. It's just this is fucking stupid, but it's so funny. And then it comes out February 24th. So
the one thing I will say about this one, obviously the trailer is great and the concept is hilarious, but can it carry a whole movie? We'll see. How long is it? Do we know?
So the movie itself, we're going to go to the old IMDb. People, it's a good thing about having the old laptop in front of us so we can actually see what's going on here. Also, me talking to just cover myself here. So basically, it is... Oh, gotta go for all these clicky people. So the movie is 1 hour and 35 minutes. That is...
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes it... That makes me a lot less worried about it, because, as I was just saying, a lot of movies seem to be over 2 hours these days, but, hey, if it works at 1 hour and, 20-something?
Hour and 35 minutes.
Hour and 35.
So that's with credits, I think, as well, so it might be less than that. So that's going to be... pumping in my veins.
Should be a laugh, yeah.
I think we may do a review on that. People may do a few movies and maybe do a double review take on that and everything. So that's my next pick. Back to Fergus.
Okay, my third and final anime for 2023 is a show called Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead.
Sorry, right, people. Basically, we're actually searching these up at the moment so we can actually see. So, do you want to repeat that for us again?
That is Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead.
I'm so glad. I'm so fucking glad YouTube does the autofill for me, because I will do it.
It's not the longest title this coming year, but so this is zombies. Zombie apocalypse, but this is a guy who works for a pretty abusive Japanese company who works him to almost death. But the zombie apocalypse happens and he doesn't need to go to work anymore. So he realizes he's really not done anything with his life and has spent 20 hours a day working for this terrible company. So is kind of got the perspective of he's been freed from his life of corporate servitude by the zombie apocalypse, and is going to take the opportunity to complete his bucket list. Zombies be damned.
This actually sounds really interesting, to be honest.
So this is kind of like a guy living how he wants to. I've read I've read some of the manga of this. As far as I've got in the manga, he's sort of getting himself set up, coming to the realization that he doesn't need to go to work anymore, just how silly the zombies are, and the fact he can, get a motorbike, drive around, go to the shop, eat anything he wants, just take a day off. Just that alone, that realization alone is just,
A day more like forever. You never have to work again.
Yes.
Well, not in a traditional sense.
I'm sure. I don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, that's the only thing. It's a really cool premise, but I wonder.
Does it have any legs?
Yes, exactly.
Enough to get bitten off.
It might just be one season of 12 episodes, but
nice one,
you know.
Thank you very much. Thank you. No, I might get a bite out of this.
Yeah.
I had to.
Too many.
There was an interesting concept. So if you go, so it's the first trailer on YouTube, people, but there's an interesting visual I'd like to point out here. So basically, in the trailer itself, you see a very like almost color sucked out world. Like the world is sucked out of color.
Yeah.
So
the zombies are vibrant, and the corporate world is just absolutely drained.
Because as you look, as he's being chased by the zombies in the trailer, the zombies are the color aspect.
There's
of that.
literally splashes of color on them. Yeah.
And I love the fact that's it's essentially bringing life back into his world. But
Yeah.
death is bringing life into his world.
I know, it's another quite interesting concept. Yeah.
So yeah, because when I first saw this trailer, and I was like, oh, okay, so Fergus has got another one now, and how the fuck's this going to play out? But then I got to a point in the trailer, and I was like, oh, how's this going to go? And I was like, yep, that pretty much sums up how that can go.
Oh yeah, I won't even. Yeah, that is a terrible arc.
Oh yeah, basically, so we're looking at an image of a very curvaceous woman, to say the least. And,
she's kind of like The Office. Sexism is absolutely rife in Japanese workplaces. She's kind of like, I guess, I don't know how to best describe it, but the Office, all right, I'll spoil it. She's the kind of only got a job because she's kind of sleeping with the boss.
So nepotism to a degree, favoritism.
Yeah. But she's also the crush of quite a lot of people in the office. But it's kind of a power. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, when so coming July. So
this will be summer season. So there's still quite a way to wait, but the manga is out there, and quite interesting.
No, I think this looks really, really fun. To be honest, I think you found one of the first anime I'm going to be putting on my list for the summertime.
Oh, cool.
I think I'm interested too. It'll be interesting to see if there must be other characters, hopefully, rather than just him. But yeah.
Yeah, he does encounter some people.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think the first half is going to be him wandering around coping with zombies and the office situation. But
I hope that once he figures out what's going on, rather than everyone else, being fearful and worried and scared for their lives, he's just like overjoyed, just like, I don't have to go to work. Yeah. Awesome. Just among all this chaos and apocalypse.
I mean, obviously, The Last of Us comes to mind a little bit for me, because obviously the most recent episode, episode 3 of that show, deals with a survivalist to a degree. And the show does initially start off with him basically like he was built for this world, and he didn't like the previous world. You could tell from that's what spoilers of the episode. I'm not going to go into detail because I really recommend watching it. But it sounds like this aspect of like, to a similar degree, his world, as you said, his world was just work and nothing, and now his world is he can do things, and like that's I love that concept so much.
Yeah, cool idea for sure.
Yeah. And it's a good title, Zom 100.
Yep. Well, Bucket List of the Dead is actually, he said it and we were like, what? But it
makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Now, if you said this to people, like if you gave a trilogy of people, or if you gave like a duology trilogy, said, oh yeah, you've shot Shaun of the Dead and Bucket List of the Dead, those two could actually be linked to a degree. Like
yeah.
Because think about like Simon Pegg's character in Shaun of the Dead, he's just going through life monotonous. Yeah. And he gets complained about his girlfriend. He's not doing anything with his life. And then the zombie apocalypse happens, and then that's an interesting
becomes a hero sort of thing. Yeah.
But I guess that's a concept to a degree for a lot of like these zombie premise things. Like someone finds their purpose in the apocalypse.
Something else. There are definitely people who would be, who are like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, survivalists definitely got the last laugh in The Last of Us, that's for sure. But yeah.
Cool, alright, well, let's do another movie then, since Mate and I are talking about movies at least, and I think he'll have probably some stuff to say about this one. John Wick, Chapter 4.
Oh, yeah.
I will be joining in this one, yes, that's correct.
Yes, so, really enjoyed the last 3 John Wick movies, especially the first 2. At this point, I'm just kind of invested. I want to see where it goes. Obviously, he's out of the, spoilers, he's out of the, Assassin's organization. Everyone's out to get him. He doesn't have a lot of allies left. To be honest, there's not too much in-depth commentary I have about this. It's just they're really good movies. The action's amazing. Keanu Reeves always is fun to watch. Are they bringing back? They've got back Morpheus, of course, but is Halle Berry returning as well in this one?
So I
think
don't know if
so.
Halle Berry's confirmed for this movie. I know Lawrence Fishburne, Ian McShane.
I can't remember his name. It's just said Morpheus.
It's Lawrence Fishburne.
Yes,
Lance
yeah.
Reddick, they're back as well. I love the fact that Donnie Yen is in this movie, so I love that as well. And also Bill Skarsgård, obviously Pennywise himself. He's like he looks to be the leader of this entire organization.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on this, man. John Wick 3 was a whole other fucking trippy level. Like it was so fun, and the fact that I believe they said there's 2 more films. There's John Wick 4 and 5, and they're filming them pretty much near each other because I don't think Keanu Reeves can do this so much longer. Like, because they've said the 4th movie is the most action he's ever done in a film, and that's saying so compared to The Matrix
and the other John Wick movies as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, the only concern I have, 3 was still a great movie, but perhaps the momentum was slightly slowing down. I hope that they can keep it up and round it off well in 5 movies, if they're going to do that. Because going into it, I thought it was going to be a trilogy.
But I have to say, like, I wonder if they can keep the momentum going. Like, I hope they can round it off in only 5 movies.
Well, that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, is 5 movies the right amount? We'll see by the time they're done. Maybe it's. I'm concerned that they'll drag it out, basically. But hopefully they can keep the quality up. They can keep the momentum, and the story will wrap up nicely. Because when you think about it, a world that's basically full of assassins is a pretty insane concept, really. So, Nature's Googling what franchise has 5 movies.
No, I'm actually. So I know you have like trilogy, quadrilogy. What do you call a 5 trilogy?
Quintology.
A quintology. Okay.
Do you know why I know that? Because originally the Oddworld series was going to be a quintology.
The more you know.
So yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely going to see it again in a cinema because it's a big, colourful, fast action movie. It's the sort of thing you want to go to a cinema for.
Yeah.
And they are doing a spin-off of Ana de Armas called Ballerina. So it's obviously, in the 3rd movie where he goes to his old...
Yes.
They have the ballet artist there as well. So Ana de Armas, who was in Knives Out and Blonde recently, and in Blade Runner 2049, she's going to be the lead character in the Ballerina movie coming out. And then there's also a Continental TV show coming out, which is about Ian McShane's character, the leader of the Continental, in the 70s.
See, I like the idea of that because can you imagine a bit more day-to-day running of basically a hotel that shelters assassins?
Also,
interesting.
New York was the purge in the 70s for a lot of a lot of corruption in the 70s.
In real life, yes. It really was.
Be interesting to see if that covers like maybe the origins of the Continental, how it gets set up.
I mean, yeah, I definitely agree there. And Serpico. Have you heard of Serpico? So it was basically like a police informant back in the day who he was shot in the face and everything. And there was a Pacino movie about it. I thought it was a fictitious character. I never knew in real life there was an actual person in real life called, I can't remember his first name, his name was Serpico. He was actually shot in the face in real life. And he was the first person to ever go against reveal New York corruption. And the police force.
I think there's a Netflix documentary about it, maybe.
I believe that might be. But yeah, Pacino won an Oscar for it as well, I believe. But I never knew this, and like hearing about the Continental in the 70s, like that aspect of it, and going back to John Wick though, I'm like, I love the fact that they're doing car fu in this one supposedly. Like, we had dog fu in the last one, and then we've had gun fu, which is the entire trilogy. Well, the movie's up to this day, but now we're having car fu. I'm well up for this, and again, I'm looking forward to how Donnie Yen plays into this. I'm hoping maybe he's not just a one and done, and he'll be in the 5th one as well. I'm just really looking forward to, definitely on my list. So rounding out to my next one, I'm going to talk about a little film called Renfield. So this, I love the fact that it's just Nicholas Hoult from The Menu. He plays Renfield, the assistant to Dracula, and Dracula is played by Nicolas Cage. And basically, this is a sort of like comedy movie, and like how he's trying to get out of this broken relationship. Essentially, he's in a complex domestic bad relationship, and he's trying to get out of it. But I also love the fact that in this movie, Renfield sort of has like powers to a degree. Like he can eat a bug and get like super agility abilities and everything.
Which is going to end it at he can eat a bug.
Well,
amazing powers.
well, I mean, yeah, it's Spider-Man. But I mean, like, the thing that makes me giggle is like Nicholas Hoult actually played Beast back in the X-Men First Class movie.
That's where I know him from.
So I love the trailer. This is where it's like, Nicholas Cage, bring me a bus of cheerleaders and some fresh virgins and like or some nuns and everything. It's like true Nicolas Cage fashion, but how he moves in this movie reminds me of Beast from the First Class movies. We're watching the trailer at the moment, but it looks just like a really fun comedy, action comedy. I love the fact that he's going to like a domestic, relationship, anonymous meeting to like get out of this relationship and. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It just looks fun. It has a stupid premise. Nicolas Cage playing Dracula is just hilarious to me, especially since he was in a movie back in the day where he played a person thinking he was a vampire. A Vampire's Kiss, I believe the name was, back in the 80s. But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to seeing this movie. To be honest, that's the movie next on my list. So yeah, I mean, gonna round out here for my one, and we'll go back to Fergus.
So, if we're doing movies, I think we should talk about the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
That's on my list as well, dude. Yeah.
I thought this might come up.
Yeah. I'm quite looking forward to this. I'm quite interested to see how they're doing it, because it's absolutely chocker with video game references, because, of course, I mean, the clip we're watching at the moment with... Mario getting slapped around by DK on the platform is Super Smash Bros. So it is absolutely everything. Also, Chris Pratt as Mario, I've still not really got my head around it. I kind of want to see
weird choice.
That goes.
Everyone else is perfect. Yeah. Every single other person is perfect for their role.
Yeah. Honestly, it kind of feels like a little bit of a name drop to get. Perhaps people are on the fence.
Well, it's the fact that when he came out with the interviews and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing something completely different, with the Mario voice," and it's like you are putting on a bit of an Italian accent, and
yeah,
I mean, he's no Bob Hoskins, but
no,
yeah,
I again, sorry.
No, it's just, there's a lot of interesting things. I'm a big Mario fan. It's Illumination Studios, so. I can only imagine good things, unless it is just incredibly cringeworthy because we know the source material.
No, if Nintendo signed off on this is not going to be cringe.
No,
that's the thing.
Well,
this is going to make. I think this is going to rival some of the highest Marvel movies. Like it's Mario. It's yeah. I mean, Sonic made a fuck ton of money as well.
Yeah,
and that's Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic's big. Mario is as big. They've all been investing in I don't know if you've seen the Super Mario World theme park.
Yes, I have seen
this.
I'd love to go. Well, of course, yeah. Chaz is like, yeah, you're damn right. I've heard.
Yeah.
They've only opened during COVID times, so I don't think that many people have actually been to them.
Well, didn't they open a second location there? It's like basically how.
So I believe they are opening one. Yeah,
Japan.
At perhaps the Orlando site. I might be wrong.
Are they opening one in France as well, if I'm correct?
No, not France, no.
Just FYI, people, Chaz is a massive theme park fan.
Yeah, I'm casual. But yeah, I want to say about this movie that, well, as a not really that big into Mario person, this looks pretty good. The trailer is promising. I think one of the things that they did better than the Sonic movies is that they've actually set it fully in a CG world that looks like a Mario world rather than having it on Earth with a bunch of humans. Not sure. So I think that's a better call. It's just it lends itself more to a fully CG world, I think. I don't know if I will see it because I'm not super into the Mario games, but I'm tempted, and I think that that's pretty good considering they are appealing to non-fans of the franchise as well.
No, I definitely agree. I think Mario works really well. I think Sonic actually worked in the sense of the live action. It worked. The mix actually worked quite well in my opinion.
Admittedly, Sonic has more of a history of doing that with having human characters and having Sonic in the human world, so it's not unheard of. But I always preferred the Sonic where he's in his own world. So
Also, we got Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. So
very true.
I mean, to be fair though, Jack Black as Bowser is like, he sounds like he's having an amazing time, and Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Though you know, great castings to me, and I love the fact that like a lot of people noticed this in the trailer. Luigi is the damsel in distress, and Princess Peach is the one going to rescue people. So it's sort of like turn it on its head eventually.
I like that.
Yeah.
I was Luigi's kind of famously a coward in the franchise. Well, I say franchise because of the Luigi's Haunted Mansion games. So there's all of the
which it looks like in the trailer he is actually going to do that at some point.
Yeah, it does look, again from the trailer, that every game is going to get at least mentioned, if not be.
That's my one concern.
Every game, that's a lot of games.
Because you know, Mario Kart and everything, and that's my one concern. Like, I do love in the first trailer they released for this, the penguins having like really deep voices and like, you know, just trying to fight off Bowser, and he's just like, okay, I'm just going to nuke your entire city in one go, and it just looks fun. Again, I think we've agreed. Chris Pratt, I think, you know, if you take, because Chris Pratt's playing Garfield as well. They're doing another Garfield movie with Chris Pratt, and it's like, do we have any
shrug?
Like we're gonna do a conversation on DC as well in another episode, but I know
where they can cast Chris Pratt.
Well, James Gunn has already said he will probably bring some of his Guardians family over to DC. Yeah. So James, you know, a lot of people. We'll talk that in the DC film. There are some talks of where Chris Pratt could go in that. But no, yeah, Sonic. You know, Super Mario seems really fun, to be honest, and also that comes out in April 7th, so literally we're getting chock-a-block full of movies in this first half of the year. It's going to be brilliant.
Going to be in the theatre every weekend, more or less.
Yes, that's awesome.
Cool. Speaking of theatre, this is my last pick for films, but it's going to be a big one. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So yeah, I loved the first one. It took me a while to see it, and I did not see it in the theatre, which I was kicking myself for. I think at the time I was just a bit too swamped by Marvel movies, or just superhero movies in general. But the first one just absolutely blew me away, as I'm sure it did many people. Sony Pictures Animation, they just do some really amazing films, so I am just so psyched to see what they do with the second one. Definitely ready for more. I will say the trailer, it's there's a lot of Spider-Man in it. I don't know how they're going to make it work. I'm a bit apprehensive based on the trailer, but based on, you know, the strength of the first movie, I'm definitely you know, fully hyped for this one. So I'm sure Nate has some stuff to say as well.
Yes, so I was actually getting off that point. So how, like, I love the fact that they've planned this as a trilogy. So the next one's called Beyond the Spider-Verse. It's essentially like, and I'm like, it's Beyond the Spider-Verse, so this is into, across, and then beyond. So I'm wondering if we're gonna cross into live action at some point.
What is Beyond the Spider-Verse?
Exactly. The web, the internet.
Are they just going to get, if you said about live action, is it going to be some kind of mad crossover, like a sequel to
No Way Home?
Yeah.
well, there were rumours that Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire were supposed to be in the first movie, and how there's actually a scene in a subway station where Miles Morales is talking to someone. I believe that was supposed to be Tom Holland's character in New York. But going off of like the many Spider-Man, I could definitely agree there are a lot of Spider-Man in this trailer. It's quite ridiculous, to be honest. Like, I love the fact that even you've got like the PS4, PS5 Spider-Man in there as well.
I did not notice that. That's a nice touch.
Oh no, you go further down the line. You've got the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man. You've also got a lot of people are wondering. You've got the Spectacular Spider-Man, which is like supposedly one of the best animated Spider-Man TV shows. You got Spider Cop, who's a running joke in the comic books. You got Werewolf Spider. You got manga Spider-Man.
How many Spider-Men are there? Like, how far can you? Like, seemingly unlimited.
The Amazing Bagman. It's like it's just a whole thing, and also like, you know, there's also a rumor like how like Yuri Lowenthal, who does like the voice of Spider-Man in the video games. People believe that what they're doing is they're going to bring voice actors back from the previous version. So my hope is we're going to get touch my own micro now. We're going to get the 90s animated Spider-Man back.
Oh, from the meme, the other, yeah.
Well, not even that. Not even that. It's more the
Well,
case
they
of
already did that
basic.
actually in the first one.
It's not even that. It's just like he had that sick amazing when you think about Spider-Man of the '90s, he was like they had that amazing guitar music and
Oh
everything for the
yes,
anime.
yes.
But I love the fact that in this as well, it's just Miles Morales just getting completely jumped by all these spider people and
Yeah.
what the fuck is going on?
Admittedly, I don't really know what the story is apart from many Spider-Men. So, yeah, I'm definitely gonna see it. Have no idea what they're gonna do with it.
So if you watch the trailer, people, you can actually see just in the bottom top side left, you can see a really chunky Spider-Man, and it's like the actual PlayStation 1 Spider-Man. Oscar Isaac is 2099 Spider-Man, so very happy with that. There is a point in this trailer as well that I was wondering where basically it looks like Miles Morales is talking to an older version of himself in the trailer. So you can actually see him talking to someone, and it's a Spider-Man suit with a gold suit. Now, if you played the recent Miles Morales PS4 and PS5 game, once he helps Harlem to a certain point, they make him a new suit, which is gold and black and everything, which represents the place he's in. And I wonder if they're going to go into that as well. But the fact that this movie, I don't know if you know, as we were talking about this previously, has 1,000 animators on it. This is going to be the biggest animation project of all time for any studio, and you could definitely tell. But going off of what you said, though, I do agree. There is a fine line they're pulling here. Marvel's Avengers Endgame was a stupidly high level event for how when I watched a Double Toasted review, they said it's literally a comic book panel you can never imagine on screen.
Yeah.
This is going to be that level, I think, for a lot of people, and I think also because I think the problem is the animation style is going to cause a lot of issues. Some people might not be able to watch this movie because I know they're going to 6 worlds in this one, whereas they were in 1 in the last time, so they're going to go to an Indian themed world. People with epilepsy might not be able to watch this movie. People with certain medical conditions might not, because it's going to be much crazier this time around. But I am really looking forward to it into June. So good because originally they were going to release both parts in the same year, but then they delayed Beyond the Spider-Verse till next year. So we're going to move a year now. But again, this is on my number 1 section list as well, so I'm really looking forward to this, to be honest. Yeah. So going on to my next one, me and Chaz have pretty much been on the same wavelength actually. Just trying to run out what's on my list. So my next one, I'm just going to quickly run about it because I know you guys might not be into it as much, but I'm going to talk about Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Loved the first movie. I thought, with the taste of Zack Snyder's Justice League and Superman and Batman, which I love the actors playing them, but their narratives were too dark and too grey and too brown. And loved Man of Steel. I was okay with the Justice League movie. I loved Wonder Woman. I was okay with Aquaman. But Shazam was just fun. It was essentially the 80s movie Big, with a kid gets superpowers and turns into a superhero. Who wants more than that? And also, Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu are the bad guys in this film. They're the daughters of Atlas, one of the Greek Prometheans who held up the world. They fight a massive dragon. I was like, why are you fighting a CGI dragon? Fucking shut up, it's a dragon. You watch House of the Dragon all the time. I love the fact that this movie might be a bit darker in tone in how it's trying to make a balancing act. The director, really embarrassed now, David Sandberg, I believe it is. So basically, he is a really good director because I thought he was brilliant in the first one. He's done horror. Yeah, David Sandberg. He's done horror and superhero as well. So he's done a lot of lightheartedness. So, did you guys ever see the movie Lights Out or a YouTube video? So basically, it's a trailer of a woman looking down a hallway and the light goes out and everything, and there's a creature in the hallway. He did Annabelle as well back in the day, and then he literally. And then he did Shazam. It was he has this blended aspect to his movies, and I just love the fact that this is just gonna be lighthearted to a degree, and also I'm wondering because obviously the DC universe has been rebooted or soft rebooted. How's this movie going to play into it? Another movie I'm going to talk about very briefly in a bit. How's this? Is this just disconnected enough that they could continue on? Because I think Zachary Levi's, and I'm a massive fan of Zachary Levi and his acting. Chuck, the TV show, loved that show back in the day. But he recently came out with some anti-vax comments on Twitter, and like he's an anti-Pfizer person. And James Gunn said basically like, if I disagreed with every actor, I wouldn't hire any actors. And you have to agree with that, separate the art from the artist and everything. So I'm still a massive fan of him as an actor, but I'm really looking forward to see how this film plays out. It looks fun, and yes, and also it looks like it's gonna have some Doctor Strange ass vibes, like cities merging around and everything. So that's next one on my list. So yeah, you're finished now, aren't you?
No,
okay.
We've got 2 more movies and the entire of games to do. Yeah. But I suspect this might be on everyone's list. So let's talk about Dune Part 2.
Ah, yes, I was also going to talk about Dune.
Same here.
Yeah.
So we'll get to another way now.
Pretty much a given.
More Dune. That's all you really need to know. The first film really got us started, so I'm hoping that things really we'll actually get into the meat.
Also,
of the
it will
Dune
be
universe
it will only be in cinemas this time.
Is it not coming to streaming?
I don't know. HBO won't do a HBO Max same day release again. That won't happen again.
Okay.
Because I unfortunately didn't see this in the cinema, which I highly regret.
Yeah, everyone said the audio was amazing.
Yep, I actually did see it in the cinema, and I would say I'm sorry you did miss out. It's definitely one of those spectacle movies that is better on a big screen.
I'll try and see Dune 2 in the cinemas this time.
Well, this movie comes out, because having the good old list here, it comes out November 3rd.
Okay, still a while then.
We've got a while.
It's good though that we can kind of, end off the year with hopefully a high. I mean, if the first one's anything to go by, if it keeps up that kind of quality, then we're definitely in for a treat. And from what I heard as well from readers of the book, the movie chooses pretty much the perfect point to stop off and carry on to the next one. So it sounds like it should be nicely rounded out, the story with the second film. So yeah, I love a good world-building movie, a good, that uses kind of visual language to show us something unique. And I feel like Dune 2, that's probably its strongest point for me. I really liked it for that. I said Dune 2, I meant Dune. So yeah, the second one, can't wait to see what they do with it, basically, and be really interested to see how the story runs out.
Yeah. Wholeheartedly agree. Again, I think I am really sad I missed the first one in the cinemas, and I think Villeneuve, he's done some amazing works of recent years. I've gone back and watched I rewatched Blade Runner 2049 in the last year or so. That's just a stunning movie, and
that's another one that did world building visually extremely well.
Didn't do as well, unfortunately, in the cinema. But the Blade Runner movies never usually do well in the cinema, which is interesting. Sad we're not going to get some actors back, but we're getting Florence Pugh in the next one, so it was interesting to see that she's going to be in it.
So who do we not get back in Dune 2?
I don't really want to spoil this though, because there's one major actor who's in the film who's not coming back.
Okay.
But actually, possibly 2. But I know Villeneuve has said he wants to adapt the Children of Dune. I believe the child of Paul Atreides as well, and he wants to do a 3-part movie of those basically. So how Dune Part 2 would be just Dune, and then he would do the Children of Dune in the second part. We'll have to get someone we know on the podcast who knows Dune a lot better for us. But
I do know one guy, but yeah.
See if we could get him on at some point.
Maybe he'll make a guest appearance.
Dune is it's a visually stunning movie, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it in cinema. I'm not gonna lie, if they do if I can find a cinema that hosts this, I might actually just go watch it again just to experience it. It is a long film, to be fair, but
didn't feel long though.
No,
to me,
that's the aspect of a good film.
Yeah.
You get some films which are only 2 hours and they feel long. The Batman is a good example of a film that works out quite well for its length. But yes, no, Dune Part 2, I cannot wait for. That's really awesome, to be honest.
Yeah, great pick. I thought it might come up, at least from Nate. But yeah, good to know we're all on the same page there. Can I go on to TV shows? Because I've gone through my films.
I've got. I'm just gonna treat people quickly. Gonna crack one open. So I've got. I think I've got 2 movies left.
All right. Well.
But we'll talk about them I'm just going to run them off very quickly, basically.
Do you want to go ahead then, and then I can talk about some TV shows?
The Flash, supposedly from James Gunn, he said it's one of the best superhero films he's ever seen. There's going to be many, many multiverse. I've seen some screenshots of Christopher Reeves appearing in running sequences and all the different movie multiverses appearing. It's ridiculous how much it is. Obviously, there's a real controversy at the moment how that's going to play out. Supposedly, this is going to reset the DC universe. How the fuck it's going to happen? I know Michael Keaton's coming back. Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck are in this film. Supergirl's in this film as well, but a different version of Supergirl. It's like an alternate universe style version. Really look forward to seeing how that plays out. And the other one is the Marvels. It's the Captain Marvel movie coming out this year. Because obviously, if you really love Miss Marvel, the TV show, that sets up the movie coming out this year.
Okay, right.
And,
I didn't realise that was what it was. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out. And obviously, it's going to include Monica Rambeau, who is in WandaVision. So those three actually, because obviously she's one of the Captain Marvels essentially in the comic books. So it's her, Miss Marvel, and Captain Marvel in the movie together. My one hope for the movie is, I know a lot of people love the Captain Marvel movie. I felt when it came out like in a weird point where it was between the Infinity War and Endgame, and how the script wasn't as strong as I wanted it to be. And Brie Larson is an Academy Award winning actress. Watch Room, not The Room. Don't fucking watch that movie. Oh, you watch it from fuck that movie. A film called Room. Like half of the movie takes place in a 10-foot by 10-foot room. But the camera work in that film works amazingly. Brie Larson is amazing in that movie. The script was just a bit dry for her character, and I'm hoping, like, even that short sequence at the end of Miss Marvel, we can spoil it because she appears at the end of Miss Marvel. Very, very briefly, there was a slight comedic aspect to it, and I'm hoping, the actress who plays Miss Marvel brings a levity to it as well, so it brings the script up a bit. It felt like a very Phase 1 movie, because when you go back and watch the original Marvel movies, they do have a certain tone to them, whereas they sort of evolved past Winter Soldier. I'm hoping that the Marvels does that. So that's my final movie pick.
Just briefly on that, I really, really enjoyed Miss Marvel. It was very refreshing, and the main character, she really... Well, all the characters were great in that, but she especially stood out. So that does make me a little bit more interested in... Did you say The Marvels?
Yes, it's called The Marvels, yes.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes me more interested knowing she's in it. I never saw... the other one.
WandaVision.
No, I saw WandaVision as well. Yeah.
Oh, you mean Captain Marvel?
Yeah, that's it. Man, my head, too many Marvels going around. Because basically the trailer didn't interest me. I was in a little bit of burnout. I think that, as you said, it came out at a bit of a weird time. But yeah, I could be interested then, knowing that Miss Marvel's in it. And on the reboot as well of the DC universe, I've been thoroughly out of watching those movies just because. Yeah, again, superhero burnout. The DC movies just didn't win out. None of them were particularly interesting to me in terms of trailers.
Honestly, Man of Steel, a lot of people hated Man of Steel because there was such a city-level destruction in the end of that movie. But everyone loves the Transformers movies.
Well,
Avengers.
That's a stretch.
Well, a lot of people made a fucking lot of money to make 5 films.
Some people must be watching them, but yeah.
And Avengers, the first movie, destroyed New York because it always does. Godzilla versus Kong, they destroyed Japan, or wherever they were. And, it's also, two superpowered people hitting each other.
Yeah.
In a city that's mostly empty.
Yeah.
I think we'll say that talk mainly for, the DC
The point I was going to make was, perhaps this is a point for me to jump back in, because I actually watched the more recent Suicide Squad recently, and that was really good. So, who knows? I'm a bit more into comic book movies now.
I'd definitely be interested in having you on the DC conversation, because they have announced. So basically, they've announced the first phase, which is called Gods and Monsters. We'll talk about very, very briefly.
Cool.
It's 10 aspects, 5 films, 5 TV shows. The first one coming out is called Creature Commandos. It's set in the 40s. A weasel is somehow going to be in it, but it's an animated show, 7-part animated show. And basically what James kind of said is the actors that come in to the animated property will go into live action, so they'll blend together. So
cool.
There's a problem with this there that Fergus knows exactly where I'm going with this. It also concerns video games. So the voice actors from the animation and the live action will go voice the video game versions as well, which can cause major issues for video game production. Video games take a lot longer to develop than movies in animation, and actors can be quite... If you get unknown actors playing these parts, fair enough, but if you get very high-known actors voicing game roles, then it's going to be it's going to be more expensive to do, and there's been a controversy around that recently. Also you've got like what was some of the movies? I can't remember. I'm blanking on the movies now. That's really frustrating.
Got it from me.
But we're getting a Swamp Thing movie as well, so that's interesting. But he's going a bit out of the box now. We're getting Superman Legacy. That's going to be the first big superhero movie coming out. He's writing it. There's rumors that people are trying to pull in to direct the Superman movie, but he's basically come out and said like, this is what's happening. They're also doing a Supergirl movie, but the Supergirl movie will be about her drifting in space, watching Krypton get destroyed, and she's a more jaded character, and she's having to protect this girl. It's actually based off like an entire.
Well, we'll see. I'll check the trailers out now once the reboot's happened, and I'll see if I want to jump back.
It's actually based on a graphic novel. So what they're doing is they're actually taking direct graphic novels, and almost adapting them to film, because there's such a template for that. And also,
it's a free storyboard. Yeah.
I mean, 300 and Watchmen are prime examples of that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just we're gonna have a bigger talk of the DC conversation about that. But yeah.
Yeah. I've got one more movie for you.
Go ahead.
This is the DreamWorks latest picture, Eternal. I believe it's DreamWorks.
You mean Elemental?
Elemental. Yes. God damn it.
I like how I typed in before you did it.
No, it's Elementals. Elemental. This is the new Pixar film. So they are living in a town where some people are made of ice and some people are made of fire, and they all have to get along. That's basically the premise. So it's opposites getting along, everyone being happy together in this relatively small city, with general Pixar good vibes, character design, and yeah.
No, I'm with you on this, man, and it is a love story as well, isn't it, between a water character and a fire character?
So they have to find some way of making it work. Yeah, despite beating the odds of, I think it's a fairly standard story, but in a kind of interesting environment. Again, Pixar, so it's basically a must-watch.
No, I definitely agree. It looks. When I first saw the trailer to this, I know actually, I believe the creators actually said, because a lot of people make comparisons to Avatar: The Last Airbender, because obviously, whenever you make a film or a property that includes 4 different elements in it, Avatar: The Last Airbender is going to be brought up quite a bit. And I do believe the creators of this did mention how that plays into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to it as well, to be honest. It looks absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it comes out later this year. It's June, so same up as Guardians.
Summer. Yeah, another summer blockbuster.
No, but that's awesome, man. So we're gonna go to our final category now, which is games.
Yes.
All right, I can kick off for games if you guys want.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Got a few to talk about. Where to start? Let's talk about Resident Evil 4.
On my list as well, dude.
Yeah.
On my list as well.
Thought so. The original is obviously a fantastic game. A lot of people have played it. It did extremely well. It released on lots and lots of systems. I must admit, when this was announced, I was skeptical, because to me the original is still a very good game. A lot of it has not, it's not aged really. I think it still looks pretty good. The mechanics still hold up. There's less to fix than in 2 and 3, let's say. However, obviously 2 was a really, really good remake. So it kind of gives me some hope that what they'll do for 4 is going to have the same kind of effect. Be interesting to see if they expand on it, because 4 is already a very long game. It's got a lot of content in it for originally a PS2 game. So basically what I'm going to be doing is looking closely at the reviews, seeing what people are saying about it, and if it's good, I'm going to get it and give it a play, because it's been a long time since I played the original, and I think if this is a good remake, then I'm definitely due a replay.
So I actually replayed this last year.
Oh, right.
I hadn't played it in at least a decade.
Which version?
The PC version.
Cool.
PC, because someone actually created he spent 8 years creating an entire HD mod for the game.
Great, yeah.
The mod was 38 gigabytes big. It was ridiculous. But it made... Because I tried to play the game, in the original version it was a bit too outdated for me, because it is 20...
It's old now.
Yeah, 2008, 2010.
I think, so, in terms of like fidelity, it's probably on the lower side, but I think in terms of like art style, that's what's not aged. That still really works well, in my opinion.
No, I definitely agree. I love the fact that they've said they got rid of QTEs in this one.
Yes, so that was definitely one of the not lower points, but I think a lot of games at the time were doing it, and maybe they're a little bit out of style now. So that's a good call.
I'm just wondering how certain, like, the troll, the fish, how those battles going to play out now, because like they're major sections of those
I guess
gameplay sequences.
I guess either they'll make it proper gameplay or they'll do some kind of scripted sequences. We'll have to see.
Did you see the dog in the trailer? What they did in this time around?
No, what they done?
So the dog. This is really depressing to say. The dog is dead at the start of the trailer when you go to save it in the bear trap.
Yeah.
So they've said this time around it's dead. Now a lot of people say, well, how's that going to play into the narrative then? Because obviously the dog plays into the game later.
Why would they kill the dog?
I don't know.
That dog helps you if you rescue it, I think.
Exactly.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, unless it's a timed event this time around, where if you don't get to the dog in the game, which would be very interesting.
Maybe they're baiting us in the trailer.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how they do Salazar. Salazar's going to be interesting for the remake, in my opinion.
Is he the guy in the robe with the big beard?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
And obviously, I don't know. I can't remember the little guy's name. He's like really with the toys.
I don't know his name, but I know the guy. Yeah, for sure.
How that's going to play into it this time. Obviously, we're looking at some gameplay. People have like looked at the rain though, the rain graphics, and they have said the rain doesn't look.
It looks a bit odd.
Looks a bit odd, yeah.
Yeah, it's too bright. It's too. There's not enough alpha fading to the rain. It looks very like on the camera.
Yeah, it's very orderly and like old movie milk rain. If you know what I mean.
They've also said that
I know exactly what you mean.
Ashley doesn't have a health bar this time around, and also knives have a durability to them. So I'm a bit frustrated with that because I don't want a Zelda where I have to keep getting new knives and everything or new weapons.
I was wondering what kind of gameplay changes they'd make because obviously 2 and 3 changed their style from the originals where I believe it was set camera angles, right?
Yes.
And from the gameplay here, looks like it works mostly the same, but as we were discussing, they've made some small tweaks. So, yeah, hopefully it works better.
You can walk and shoot in this one as well. You couldn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely a plus side. But yeah,
I believe you can.
So I'm going to definitely check out the reviews first, but I'm cautiously optimistic that they'll do a good job on this one.
Well, that is March 24th.
Yeah, not long.
March 24th. So many games coming out in the next 2 months, and yeah, it was definitely on my list as well. Going on to my first pick, can't really talk about Dead Space because I've already just completed it. It was absolutely brilliant. Frustrating as hell because the necromorphs have 3 layers to their bodies now: skin, muscle, and bone. So you have to shoot through them to actually take the limbs out this time.
Gruesome.
It was, and also they've added a secret ending to the game now, and an alternate ending. They added an entirely new suit for New Game Plus and everything. I was a bit disappointed because I had some performance issues toward the end of the game. Like my PC dropped quite a few frames. Suppose it's a thing with higher end graphics cards at the moment. And also, the alternate ending they added, I did just YouTube it because I don't want to play the game again recently. Amazing. Also, they adjusted the flight combats, so the 0 G. So instead of like you locking to floors, it was the Dead Space 2 0 G where you actually thrusted around and everything. It was much better change to the game, and they added a couple of different elements to it. It was brilliant. But I'm going to talk about we spoke briefly about Final Fantasy Rebirth. Look forward to that. I'm going to talk about Marvel Spider-Man 2 because I can't really say much about this game at the moment. Like, it's coming out TBD 2023. They've basically said that. The reveal trailer is basically announced that it sounds like Kraven's going to be in it. Venom is going to be one of the main villains. It's Miles Morales and Spider-Man teaming up. A lot of people are wondering how they're actually going to go about it this time because obviously you can only play in New York so many times before. Are they going to expand it to not just Manhattan, so it's going to be Queens and Brooklyn this time around? Because obviously Miles Morales, his home area it's Harlem, it's Brooklyn and everything. And for Peter Parker, it's Queens. So expanding the city. And also, is it going to have an aspect of like GTA 5 where you can instantly switch between the two characters this time around? They have different narratives playing out.
Yeah.
Can't really say much else than that at the moment. I'm wondering, because obviously this has been very quiet and like the developers have said it is still coming out this year. They're just working on it. Loved the first one. I thought the narrative was absolutely stunning and very heartfelt towards the end. I teared up a bit at the end of the first one. And the Miles Morales expansion, well, I say expansion, secondary game. It was a 12-hour campaign itself. Brilliant, amazing soundtrack. I loved the twist at the end of the first game and how it's going to play into the sequel. Can't really say much else than that. But yeah, I can't wait to play this game. I'm hoping to God we get some sort of fucking announcement soon on like a release date, or at least because, you know, Zelda's coming out in May, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but they announced the release date back in like October, November time. So I'm hoping like we get like a PlayStation Direct soon where we get to see
more.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're also working on Wolverine as well, which is going to be an R-rated Wolverine game, supposedly.
Okay.
So, yeah, Insomniac is just, like, the fact that they released, like, Ratchet and Clank last year, they did Miles Morales, and now they're releasing Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine,
well.
and they've all been... Like, I never played Ratchet and Clank game before, fucking loved the remake. You know, the PS5 game. And, that's my next game pick.
Okay. So, I think my game pick is going to be slightly different to yours. A game called Anonymous Code. So, this is the next visual novel in the... made by Studio Majors and Chiomoro Studio. So, this is the same people who made Steins Gate and Chaos Head Noah. I think it's coming out in the West in 2023. There have been complications with Majors and some of their partners going bankrupt, but it is already out in Japan. So it is just a question of porting it over and translating, which we'll see. It might end up being a fan translation. But this is a very interesting... It's less of a visual novel and more of a story-based puzzle experience, I guess. So you are living in Tokyo in 2037. You make a living as a pro hacker. But in 2037, the boundaries between the real world and the digital world are basically non-existent. So people can hack you for realsies.
That's scary.
Yeah. And it kind of plays into this fear with the there's perma save loss. So if you make the wrong decision, someone hacks you for realsies, and you lose your save data, and you have to start all over again.
That. I was going to say, that's like half clever and potentially very frustrating.
Half bullshit.
Yeah.
Nate's visibly mad about
it.
That.
It adds the fear to it. You don't want to make the wrong decision.
This is Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear Solid 1 to a whole other level, like guessing your save files in PlayStation 1. Like, fuck that.
They're very good at this sort of game, so it's going to be techno-psychological horror type
They did a
deal.
similar thing in Watch Dogs 2?
Yeah.
So how people could come into your game and hack your game, like elements in your game, they could like hack elements around you and like try to rob
real
you.
Players or
yes, real
that's
players.
Cool.
Obviously, Elden Ring had a thing where they could come into your realm as well, where they could attack. But nah, fuck this shit. No.
That reminds me a bit in an old game called Eternal Darkness, which had fourth wall breaking psychological horror effects, and one of them is that it pretends it's deleted your save data, which is hilarious.
No, just no.
Also, you can use the save. So the save data is also folded into the story itself. So because you can time travel using the save data using...
Fergus is broke Nate's brain right now.
Yeah, it's completely...
I just don't know what to think anymore.
I know, it's
awesome.
It's going to be an amazing game.
Sounds pretty
I
interesting.
really want it to come. Someone please buy Majors. I think Spike Chunsoft is the publisher for them at the moment. I'm hoping they do.
Of course, Steins Gate. Of course, yeah. That's
okay, but then this is the first new one in a while. But yes, very much looking forward to this. Coming soon. PlayStation, Switch, PC.
Nice one, yeah. Cool. Well. Next game I want to talk about, I don't know if either of you were going to talk about it, but Diablo 4, I believe, is due out in 2023. So, the first trailer that I saw really sold me. It was a gameplay trailer, which was the druid. And anything where I can play a druid and it looks awesome, I'm pretty much in. I quite like these style of games usually. Obviously, Blizzard's track record recently is not so good. So again, another one we're going to be checking out the reviews before I buy. But fingers crossed, the tone from the original CG trailer that was out looks very cool, very dark. And hopefully they can pull it off gameplay wise. So if the reviews are alright, then I'm definitely going to check this out, because after playing a whole bunch of Hades, I'm definitely up for another action RPG type game. This one's a bit darker and a bit more fantasy, so that's definitely up my alley.
Yeah, I played Diablo 3 for the first time during lockdown. A good friend of ours, he's a massive Diablo fan, and I think I recently played Hades myself, and I wasn't hugely into these sorts of games growing up. I did like Dungeon Siege, but that wasn't like this. It was more like standard RPG. And I played Diablo 3, and I actually quite enjoyed it. Never finished it. I think I'm gonna possibly get on my Steam Deck and maybe just power through it on there. I think that's a good game to do on Steam Deck when you're chilling and whatnot. Diablo 4, I'm definitely interested in seeing how that plays out. So yeah,
nice one.
Yeah, so I've got like a few left, so I'm gonna double mine up and just get through them quickly.
Cool, man.
So
Yep.
so basically, gonna talk about quickly. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, and Tears of the Kingdom, as Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. Obviously, Rocksteady. Sorry, don't want to get those confused. So I'm very intrigued to see how this plays out. My concern is the fact that Marvel's Avengers is shutting down soon, and that really did not last long. And obviously, this possibly could have a similar tone in how it plays out, because it's not just a single player game. You can play as up to 4 people in the campaign. It looks stunning, looks brilliant. I love the fact you can play as King Shark as well. I think that's absolutely great. And Deadshot. It's going to be interesting. And you are fighting the Justice League. I'm wondering how it play out narratively if you can play it completely single player, because obviously coming from the Arkham series team, made some amazing Batman games. How it's going to play out?
Then, yeah. And you think that they wouldn't repeat, as you said, the same mistake with Marvel Avengers, was it?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping there's not a lot of live, service things going into this, because I just want my good narrative, essentially. Like I want my good narrative, and I believe this one is taking place in Metropolis, so we'll see how that plays out. Also, the one aspect of this which I did find kind of like a little sad at the end was basically it was revealed that this is actually Kevin Conroy's, who voiced Batman for over 30 years, his final performance as Batman.
30 years, wow.
Yeah, so it was like the early 90s he started playing Batman, and this is his final performance as Batman. And also Mark Hamill has actually come out and said recently he's not going to voice the Joker anymore because of Kevin Conroy isn't around. There's no Batman to his Joker anymore, so he's not, which I think is...
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's a very, very heartfelt tribute, because like when you think the Joker and Batman, a lot of people say Christian Bale and everything, but to me, Batman for me is Kevin Conroy, because I grew up with that. But that's one of them. Tears of the Kingdom. Can't really say much else at the moment for Zelda, because it's really frustrating me. Nintendo have just announced they're doing a direct tomorrow. I'm recording this, but it's going to be like 11 p.m. here.
Yeah.
But it's a 40-minute showcase for the first half of the year.
Yeah, there'll be some interesting.
I think they're going to announce. I think there's a you know where I'm going with this. They might
Switch 2.
Yeah. Well, I've been hearing people talk about the Switch kind of showing its age a little bit now, so it feels
really
time,
is.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Zelda's always been a lot of the games have been across platforms. Zelda Tears of the Breath of the Wild was Wii U and Switch.
Yep. Yeah.
Twilight Princess, I believe, was as well. I didn't have a Wii or Wii U myself, but my family did. And I believe that's coming out May 12th. That's the actual time frame for it. I think what they're going to do is they're going to delay it one more time, and they're going to basically get to the summer window, get a few more Switches sold, because it's just been announced that the Switch has outsold the entire lifetime of the PlayStation 2 now.
Gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now that's impressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially since the PS2 only stopped production officially, or I don't know if it's the PS3.
It kept going for a very long time.
Yeah, because in the South American countries, I believe it was more there. But yeah, that Tears of the Kingdom can't really say much else. The whole, the Hyrule aspect here, you've got the landscape, you've got the Sky Kingdom now. I think it's going to be a darker tone. I'm hoping they get rid of weapon durability. You can just continue fighting with it this time around. Breath of the Wild got me through a very dark time as well, so I'm really looking forward to playing Tears of the Kingdom. So yeah, that's my next ones.
Awesome. So I've only got 2 more. I can rattle them off as well if you
Yeah,
like.
I've got one more, so if you want to do your 2, we can do that.
Okay. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, is coming out this year. December 2023. So right at the end of 2023. But it's finally coming out. The Ukrainian developed epic... how do you describe it? Open world, post-apocalyptic, first-person shootery game set in Chernobyl and the surrounding area. It's got a lot of interesting stuff going on in it. Just the sort of the void rifts that you have to avoid walking into has... I don't know if there's monsters floating around, but like the vibes are really interesting. The sort of supernatural stuff's really interesting. I think even given the context of its, especially the later side of its development, is going to make things interesting. I mean, I believe the original studio where this was originally developed has been destroyed by a missile. So let's say the latter half of maybe the story development has probably been fed into this game, so it's going to be a very interesting play, story wise and just sort of game elements wise. I mean, I played a lot of Fallout 4. I'm kind of hoping for the same sort of ish vibes. I mean, of course it's going to be very different, but
the annoying thing is I really loved the Metro games back in the day.
Yeah,
obviously set in Russia.
Yeah.
And I know they changed the title of Chernobyl. They changed the spelling of Chernobyl for this because of this as well.
Yeah. The war has changed quite a lot contextually about the
I mean, this could be coming to Game Pass as well, I believe.
I have no idea. The fact it's coming out at all is a miracle.
Yes.
Well, yeah, it said it's Xbox Series X and S and PC in 2023. Oh yeah, day one Game Pass.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Okay. Yes. Very much looking forward to that. Been waiting for that for some years now.
At least a decade and a half, I'd say.
Yes.
Quite a while,
Yeah. And for a lighter tone, Witchbrook, which is... So this is from the same publisher as Stardew Valley. So this is kind of very Stardew Valley vibes. Witch Academy, so you kind of attend classes, learn how to brew potions. There's some talk of it being kind of like social MMORPG kind of deal.
The art style's lovely. Look at
So
that.
it's super cutesy, Stardew Valley style. We're all attending a Witch Academy, trading lettuces with each other sort of game. Chucklefish, yeah. There's not a huge amount of information out about it.
No, I'm literally scrolling, trying to try and find something at the moment.
Yeah, there's not really a trailer, but it's coming out this year, and I very much enjoy Stardew Valley, and if this gives them the same vibes, and...
Wasn't Stardew Valley only made by one person as well?
Yeah.
So, I'm presuming he's got more creators on this one, possibly.
I suspect so, because he's also still supporting Stardew Valley.
Because he made a lot
Over that, he just doesn't sleep.
Yeah. Yeah,
workaholic.
I do agree with you though, Chaz. This art style
gorgeous.
is really, and also he's changed the actual, like, it's more isometric this time around.
I was going to say I love a good isometric art style. It can really
because the last one was top down, wasn't it? Stardew Valley was like almost a 2-point top down view.
Yeah, the camera angles changed a bit. Yeah.
And we love pixel stuff on NMI.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so keep an eye out for this one. I'm hoping for trailers quite soon.
So that's Witchbrook, people.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I'd like to round off with one that's pretty close to my heart, and that is Darkest Dungeon 2.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
So Darkest Dungeon 2 is actually out in early access right now. I think it's still exclusive to the Epic Store. But like Darkest Dungeon 1, they did a lot of development, in early access and refined a lot of mechanics. Darkest Dungeon 2 is doing the same thing. So I have played a little bit of the game now, but they kind of made a lot of adjustments to the mechanics of the game after that. I kind of put it down for a while, just to kind of give them some chance, but it seems like they're aiming for it to come out in 2023. Darkest Dungeon 1 is I love that game. It's amazing. The art style is super great. The tone is amazing, and basically, in Darkest Dungeon 2, in terms of tone, they've just amped everything up. They've gotten a new kind of 3D, but reminiscent of the original game's art style. The combat looks fantastic. Mechanically, they've changed a ton, so that's interesting. It's a bit of a gamble, but I think they can make it work. So I think I'll probably will just check it out when it's ready, fully released, hopefully this year. And yeah, I just love the tone and the atmosphere of this game. So yeah, definitely looking forward to this one. Can't wait.
I do have to check one thing very quickly because it's just come to my mind. So a game that we haven't mentioned because I don't think it announced when it was actual release date. This is a game neither of us have mentioned.
Interesting.
We are talking about Hades 2, people. It's supposed to be coming out in early access in 2023.
All right, then my next pick is Hades 2.
I think I pretty much got to cut in as well for that. So, can't wait for this.
I should mention I actually recently finished the epilogue of Hades 1.
Jesus Christ! Well, I have to give a slight round of applause for that. How was it?
It was okay.
So, would you say, as someone who is not very good at those games and would take a very long time to maybe just YouTube it?
The epilogue, yeah.
Okay.
But I'd say try and finish it 10 times. That's the proper ending-ish.
I mean, I can complete it in about 40 minutes, so at my best go when I retrain on it, but yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely I'll tack that one on then. Looks like early access for Hades 2. I would probably talk a lot about Hades 2 in other episodes, so I will not say too much more, but yeah, definitely.
So you get your Diablo 4 and your Hades 2 this year?
Yeah, and my Darkest Dungeon 2, so yeah, great year for me.
Chaz is eating well this year, that's for sure.
Well, I'm going to be playing the same 3 games like I usually do for many, many hours.
Yep, right, so I'm just going to run off my last 2 now. We're actually running a quite longer than I expected, people, but we've done movies, TV shows, and games, so it's going to be a bit longer. So I'm going to talk very briefly about this, because we still don't fully know when this is coming out. I'm talking about Starfield. Obviously, there's no official actual release date for this year. I'm hoping I know they did a brief conference for Xbox recently, and they said that Starfield is going to be getting its own presentation. I'm hoping something comes out for this soon.
Yeah,
really looking forward to playing it. Really look forward to playing. I like the fact that they're not going to have fuel for the starships, as they've mentioned, and stuff like that. But, again, there's not much else I can really say for Starfield at the moment, because we've seen gameplay for it. It looks interesting. I hope the worlds are a bit more visually appetizing, because I think Skyrim, we always have to go back to Skyrim, had very unique locations. And I think Starfield definitely needs that. I know we've got a few hub worlds that, when you play as this, you go to Humanity Hub World and everything. It's quite visually interesting to a degree, but I think some of the other planets should be interesting as well. Customizing your ships is interesting to play. So that's one of my picks, Starfield. But my final one, so it is Jedi Survivor. So obviously I've got to end up with a bit of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. IGN have just released the first 9 minutes of gameplay from the game. I think it looks. Again, I think it looks stunning. I can't wait for this time around. I'm a big fan of Cameron Monaghan, the actor who's actually playing Cal Kestis. I'm hoping, whereas DC is doing the whole transition of actors between video game and live action, and also with TV shows such as Marlene in The Last of Us, she plays the same actress in that, and with Star Wars and Mandalorian, Ahsoka and everything, transitioning between live action. I'm hoping he is a true actor as well, so he can easily transition. He comes into live action eventually as well. That's what I'm really hoping for, because he's brilliant. I can't wait for this game. It comes out on March. So it was delayed actually till April. So it comes out the same day as Dead Island 2, which is going to be. I wonder if Dead Island's going to move that day. But they're 2 different genres
very
entirely.
Different, yeah.
So I wonder if but they might compete to a degree in the sales market. I'm loving the fact that they've added an entirely new lightsaber combat style. So, did you guys ever play the Jedi Knight series back in the day?
Yeah, I think so.
So they had a medium, light, and heavy fight style. This one, it seems like they've got single blade, dual blade, and double bladed, so you can actually switch between fighting styles. They've adapted even further. Obviously, you guys won't care about spoilers now, but at the end of the first game, you fight Vader, or should I say, you get fucking trounced by Vader. He appears at the end of the game, rips the entire world apart, and you're like, "Fuck this shit!" You got to basically, the whole plan is to get the fuck out of there and away from him. And when he turns up, you just hear the and the stomp, and you're like, "Okay, fucking go!" And this time around, they've said it's a bit darker and Tony's more mature, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out in the narrative itself. And I've only got like 2.5 months left to play it. They pushed it back by 6 weeks, and some people complain. I'm like, it's 6 weeks to get a bit more bug fixes in there, a bit of that polish, because they did have a few patches they had to release with the first game, and I think they basically like said, okay, we'll change the tone a bit and everything. You know, we'll delay a bit. And I'm fine. 6 weeks is fine.
With development these days in games, if you're delaying a game, I almost think it's not a good thing, but I will never berate them for it, because it's like clearly they've realised that there's more work to do, and though patching is a thing, you want to hit the ground running. Like, you're going to affect your sales and annoy people if you have to put out too many patches fixing especially critical issues.
Wholeheartedly agree. I mean, also, you know, Resi 4 comes out March 24th. Jedi Survivor comes out April 28th. Just play Resi an hour a night, and you'll get to Jedi Survivor,
or watch the multitude of TV shows, or watch a film. 2023 is mad.
The Last of Us Part 1 comes out on PC on March 28th as well, and a lot of people haven't played that either.
You will find other things to do. 2023 is a mad year.
Also, no doubt you've got your Steam backlog, people, so they go and do that. But no, I'm just really looking forward to this game. Cannot wait to play it, and that's my final pick. So many fucking like movies, TV shows, and video games. It seems like we're coming out of the tight sync. Oh, what would you call it? The where it comes
the COVID delays, basically.
The COVID delays of coming. Yeah, the bottleneck.
Yeah, bottleneck. That's it. Do you know what? I know exactly what you meant, and I was like, "What is that word?"
Yeah, we are literally coming out of the bottleneck now, where we're getting a lot of the titles coming out now. We're like getting a lot of the things coming out. I'm really looking forward to playing them, but. Yeah, that was really awesome. I like the fact that we had a lot of crossing in our entertainment this time as well.
But also quite a few unique ones as well, which is nice. A nice mix.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, we could definitely count on Fergus coming in with the Zom 100. I'm definitely looking forward to. Like,
awesome.
You know, I'm really looking forward to playing that. Or watching that. Sorry. Yeah. So it'd be really interesting playing that. Could be a game eventually. Who knows? Because you know. But yeah, no. That is it, people. We've rounded up our list. So next week. We're working out the ideas at the moment. The two topics we're sort of leaning towards at the moment is either the streaming wars conversation of how that's going to play out, or the DC slate conversation, how our predictions for the first phase of DC, which isn't even the full phase as well. They've said this is phase 1, but we've only announced like a few of the projects in it so far. So see how that plays out. But again, that's it, people. We're going to round it out now with our lovely outro. So if you've got any questions, queries, or compliments, feel free to email us at nmipodcast@outlook.com. That's nmipodcast@outlook.com. Look in the description if you want to find the there. Search for our socials at NMIcast. That's at NMIcast. If you got any, like, you know, what are you looking forward to in 2023 that we possibly didn't mention? Is there anything like you want us to talk about, like maybe topic conversation wise? You know, we've got so many things we could talk about this year. What could we possibly do? So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there for myself. But I want to thank Fergus and Chaz for joining me today. Obviously, Chaz is in person. I hope you had a great time, dude.
Good to be here in person. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to doing it more. Obviously, we may have to, you know, switch to online sometimes as well, depending on like people's schedules and everything. So we'll try to do these as much in person as possible. Hopefully, people enjoy that more. But yeah, we're gonna leave it there. Thank you again, Fergus, for joining us today.
No problem. It's been a pleasure as usual.
Right, that's all right. We're going to leave it there, people. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your week. Obviously, enjoy all the games that are coming out. So many good games. Go play Hi-Fi Rush. That's on Game Pass at the moment. I've been playing a bit of that, loving that. Didn't want to mention that because it's already out. And yeah, so we're going to leave it there. So people, have a great week. We'll see you next time. See everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.